Hey, I'm Pat B.
And I'm Adam Owens.
And you're listening to the Geek Down here on WEMF Radio. I love it because it comes in and then you got Mr. Chappelle letting us know how it actually goes down and you're like getting this, hold it.
I think I rushed my name that time.
I rushed your name?
No, I think I did.
Well, come on, you're excited.
Look at my moves.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Geek Down here on WEMF. As you heard, I am Pat B. On the side of me, I give him a pound. Mm-hmm. The main pound puppy.
Is it a move? Yeah.
I'm talking about my main man, Black Adam Willis.
Hey, how you doing, man? You alright?
I'm not bad, dude. I'm not bad. Enjoying my extra muggy Monday.
Oh, man.
For real, yeah.
It's sticky Monday now. When it gets this warm out.
Dude, I mean, I'm not complaining because I'm glad we got the warm weather, but it's gross.
Yeah.
Like, just uncomfortable outside, man. Clothes are sticking to body parts. It's unsanitary. For real. But that's
the last thing you want to, you know what I mean? You're walking like that, you get to work, like everything's sticking to you.
Yeah, you know, I want to give them a show. You
gotta peel it off before you talk to people and everything.
You gotta leave something to the imagination, yo. It's like, what you got down there by your knees?
I had to wrap it around, you know?
Yeah, you know, just like tuck it to the side and get the hell on. All right, we not alone in the house. I'm looking across the table at my main man, well, my other main man, Dirty D.
What's up, Snoogans?
Mm-hmm.
Snoogans.
Bringing it back.
Yep. And Capital Captain Catastrophe. I'm talking about just Johnny.
Yo.
Mm-hmm. And keeping it sounding amazing as always, I'm looking in the booth to my man, Herbie Herb.
Yo.
Hey, what's going on, you?
Happening.
You all ready for an action-packed, fun-filled show? Woo! Good, because we have just that. Why did I get the excitement from one dude and one dude only? The rest of y'all extra. Yeah, so all like, yeah, sure, fine.
It's like
I just don't want to be the lone guy. Like, yeah.
You give a thumbs up on the radio, bro.
Yes. Rocks.
It's radio of the mind.
I look forward to a very classic broadcast production.
All right, but no, we do have an action-packed show for you. I'm looking at my man Stone Cold to back me up here. He says, What? Sorry, yo, bad jokes. But now we do.
He's playing with a Stone Cold action figure.
The thing with that Stone Cold thing too is like when I was watching it, watching the whole Attitude Era thing, and like I never noticed that.
The what thing?
Yeah.
Really? That was they would do that.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, but I just never noticed it then. You know what I mean? I was just paying attention to other stuff, I guess. You know what I mean? Now, like I'm going back and he just said, "What? What?"
Promo,
like,
and everybody in the
always,
crowd
man.
would just be saying, "What? Like what?
What was I watching? And what was I paying attention to?
I think it's context because it started off like
Maybe.
funny. He would cut someone off, and the audience would do it for like 7 minutes straight, just like we have a show to put on.
Yeah, you get in people's faces, then just what, and people like look blankly back at him and everything like that. It was perfect. I just don't know what I was.
Hey man, better that than when like you had The Rock and Kurt Angle talking about strudel and milk.
Yeah,
and these cats, breakdowns for boobs and for real, man. All right, hold on.
Some of those lost storylines.
Some of the best
were on purpose.
Ever.
Yeah,
I love how we can jump into like a serious. Actually, you know what? No, I'll save the serious story for a second. Let's jump in with a more amusing story because it ties into the show today too. We'll be talking about X-Men Apocalypse and a tie-in for X-Men Apocalypse. This is legit news. Fans left over 75,000 voicemails for Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters video. Now, this was a viral marketing campaign for X-Men Apocalypse, which, oddly enough, believe it or not, the marketing campaign did better than the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Seriously, it's unfortunate.
I saw that movie, so that was spot on. But now, a viral marketing campaign for X-Men Apocalypse invited fans to call a toll-free number at the end of a retro-style promotional video. This was like, in the 80s, you'd have, Nets Technical Institute. Or refrigeration repair, gun repair,
HVAC.
Yeah, well, this was kind of like one of those. Hey, we have a special school for gifted youngsters. And the best thing to come from the marketing campaign itself, because the movie was kind of, I'm not going to say the movie was garbage. I'll say that later.
Yeah.
Were the responses to this ad? I love how they had one dude called in pretending to be Deadpool. Like, I'm not really.
Favorite one.
Oh, Deadpool one?
That's my favorite one.
My favorite one was the dude that called in. Like, if anyone doesn't realize, you watch the video, it's got like a promotional video for we have a school for, if your kids are in a special situation, this is a safe place for them to learn and grow and adapt and stuff. This was kind of like those Sylvan commercials or commercials for different alternative schooling. And this one had a number you could call, supposedly for Xavier's line. You'd call the number and you'd receive a voicemail message from Stan Lee. That's what was cool as hell.
No way, dude. That's the
Stan
number
Lee
right
himself.
there.
That's awesome. And it would basically say Stan Lee would say, "10 true believers believe, leave a message and we'll get back." Stan Lee style. And cats would just leave these hilarious messages. Now, mind you, sifting through 75,000 of these suckers.
Is there a certain guy that does that too, you think?
Stan
How do
Lee?
you get stuck with that job? Sifting through all the messages.
Oh, I don't know, man.
I would have had a blast. I would have loved that.
It's like 3 weeks later,
would've
the
had
guy's
a
got a
blast
full
for, like,
beard,
the
his ears in a cast.
Yeah, in all fairness, like we talking about like we got like a solid like 5 or 7 that were just extra spot on. 75,000, a lot of them. I didn't realize. Click. It's a thing. Click. Hey, Mufasa. Click. Like
getting people
stuff.
to call like hotlines and stuff is just a funny thing in general. I remember there's I saw like a business card and it was like for the Hall & Oates hotline. It's like if you need your Hall & Oates fix, you call this number and you call it up and it's just a constant like streaming thing of like Hall & Oates music. You're like, yeah, all right, then you hang up. You know what I mean? So you got your 30 seconds of Hall & Oates and that was it. But it was just hilarious.
That sounds dope. And if it wasn't like $5.99 a minute, 'cause it was
right? Yeah.
That would have been it would have left that on the background and things. It's like okay, greatest elevator music ever.
Yeah.
You put me on hold. It's like private eyes are watching you. I'm right there. And then you get that phone call later on, and I get
I'd pay to watch Pat sing that.
Yeah.
Man, hey, I charge for the service, y'all. I can be seen in karaoke every Tuesday. All right, no. But my personal favorite one was the dude who called in. Like everyone called in, I'm the sea urchin. I've got a problem with my powers. Well, I've got needles coming out of my body, which would be normally great. I could fight crime and stuff, but they're only in the we'll just say below the equator, and it's proving a problem with my love life. Stuff was clever, man.
I think my favorite one was the guy who called up, "Hey, could you not send those robots to my parking lot? That would not be cool." I was rolling, man. Man. So creative, man. You gotta love fans.
Yeah, no, okay. Check these out on YouTube.
This is the only time we're ever promoting like comment sections out there. You know what I mean? Because usually they're full of trolls that should belong under bridges. You know what I mean?
Well, remember when we took over the lifestyle show from Mr. Bond, we used to do promos for the party lines.
Yeah,
and you used to get random Indian guys.
I forgot about the party line, dude.
This is not as hot a party as I had anticipated.
It's good. He had some fun with it, man. The people like, oh man,
it was a bygone age. I like this promotion.
Yeah, no, it's funny, man.
It's a news story about a commercial now. I want you to take that in. That's how poignant this was, and it was what's up, man. It's the new X-Men Apocalypse is still in theaters now. They promoted this, I think, very well, and I'll leave y'all with just the concept of my favorite call, which was a dude who called in not as a gifted youngster, but as someone who misunderstood the commercial and said, okay, if y'all are doing our powers, please give me a call back. My number is blank, 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 blank. I'd love to be a gifted youngster. I mean, I'll take some gifts all day. You know what? That would be me. That would be me. That's a daggone shame, but I confess that. Yo, check it out on YouTube. If you just Google X-Men Apocalypse voicemail, X-Men Apocalypse phone calls, X-Men Apocalypse, anything of that combination, you can hear some of the highlights of this, and you can find the actual campaign. I think it's still going as long as the movie's running. Call it yourself. Leave a couple messages.
Come up with a good bit, throw it in.
Right there.
We got the number right here, scribbled into this desk somewhere.
Go ahead, lay the number on it, man.
What do we got? What is it?
1-800
312
312
What's the
9951?
9951, yeah. Sorry. I'm looking at it upside down. I'm like, what's this?
All right. What if they call that? Call 1-800.
I don't want to be an X-Men, but I would like Jean Grey's number.
It's 1-800, not 900 too, folks. So
No, not 976. That's a whole different kind of gift to youngster. Feds will come to your house.
I got this overdeveloped forearm, and I don't know how to hide it.
ATF.
Wow. Okay. On that note. All right, next news story. Okay, this is actually a more serious one. Emerald City Comic Con has fallen under a class action lawsuit for using volunteer labor and to support the show, the convention itself. Now, the suit has been let me break this down because this is actually the details are complex, but it makes sense in the long run. The suit's been filed against Etane. Dang it, it's hard to pronounce.
Itani.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll say Itani. Itani Emerald Corp, which ran the convention up until 2015, and the original founders, the Demonakos family, the ultra Greek name, the Demonakos family. But basically, what it comes down to is at least 250 people who volunteered to work the conventions were promised pay for the actual work time, overtime. Breaks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And between 2014 and 2015, and were never paid for it. Yeah, just completely. I don't want to say ripped off.
3 days
That's-
of my life I'll never get back.
Yeah. Now,
They
a
had a
statement
great
from. Nah, the whole thing reeks of like jive sucking them from beginning to end.
Yeah,
I think this-
seriously.
Oh no.
Now, a statement from the current owner, Reed Pop, explains that nonprofit companies are allowed to use volunteer labor. For-profit companies are not. Now, these were a nonprofit company, Etain and Demonacos, because they run conventions that people basically are going to and working at for free entrance. You know, so it's like you work for us for 3 days and you get the equivalent of a half a day to a day
Okay.
of like free time. Just explore, take in the con, buy stuff, see stuff, panels, all that BS. And while not legally required to pay the volunteers, the ECC, the Emerald City Comic Con, did make the offer to pay them when they volunteered. So the fact that they just reneged on an offer that they actually made, they weren't originally legally obligated, but that makes it an actual position.
Yeah.
And Reed Pop is the company that, they own several different conventions, including like New York Comic Con, the biggest one, or one of the bigger ones. And they came out with a statement now. They're offering to pay their current volunteers. As of right now, Reed Pop is a for-profit that now owns the convention. So the fact that a for-profit owns the previously non-profit owned and run convention is what's made this such like a huge story now, because some
Say that
people,
5 times fast.
I'm struggling with myself. But the cats who brought up the lawsuit are now struggling with the fact that it's a for-profit organization who has the resources, and I think they might be looking for them to take up some of the actual monetary responsibilities. Monetary responsibilities.
Fiduci.
Yeah, looking for them not to be as big fiducious as they have been.
Right.
And actually pay these cats, man. I'd be pissed myself. I think these cats actually have a legit case.
When you
even
don't
from
get
a
paid
moral
for anything,
standpoint. Yeah, because the thing is, they were promised. People go to these things on good faith because they're fans, you know?
Yeah, they absolutely do. And when it comes down to one company that sort of acquires the licensing or the rights of another company or sub product of that being the con itself, with that acquisition comes the liabilities that come along with it. You have to take it all because you are now fronting as that business. There's definitely I've remembered this very vaguely in my law class I took like 10 years ago or something like that.
They have a law class on convention operations and pay.
No, it has nothing to do with conventions. It has to do with companies that acquire another companies. They have to take the responsibilities that follows that company that they acquired. So it's just something that companies have to deal with when they obtain a part of it or
Merge.
Now you said Repop was going to move forward and pay its current volunteers.
Yes.
What about the 2015, 2014 guys?
That's not their responsibility, and they were very smart about that. They said that
kind of goes against what he said, so it's like...
Well, no, Reed Pop has taken it over, but the suit itself is not against Reed Pop. The suit is specifically not against the con; it's against the previous con owners.
The owners, Demonicos and
so the ones that made the promise themselves are the ones that fall under the lawsuit. Reed Pop, it feels like they made this statement as a courtesy, which, considering they're pulling a couple of fast ones with the admissions for like Comic Con now, I think might be good for them to get some positive press and for them to fall on the side of the fans, or at least not on the side of the fans. Make a statement that the fans can use as part of their suit. Is a wise political move by them right now.
What I suspect is that this Reed Pop company, the deal between them and the previous owners. I'm guessing that the lawsuit is going to be based entirely on that deal and whether or not the original company is going to be responsible or if Reed is going to be responsible. And either way, because they made the promise, it's if it's written, that's it.
ironclad.
Well, the only defense I think these cats can have is that they're a non-profit. They made a promise, but they made probably verbal agreements with these people because they promised the minimum wage. Minimum wage. I guess time and a half overtime is still. It's still. I mean,
still garbage.
Yeah, for the whole weekend, it probably wouldn't come up to the cost of like one actual ticket admission
for the 3 days.
Yeah, but they were free labor. They were poorly paid labor. They were unpaid labor, but they worked at this convention. The whole thing's
people's
ugly, man.
fandom and geekdom knows no bounds, brother.
No, it's like $100 bucks, 200 bucks for 250 people. That amounts to a decent chunk of change. What, 25K?
It does, but still, I mean, my whole thing is you're taking advantage of your fan base. You know, if these
Exactly.
people are working
Yeah.
for you, they would
that's
be
the
your
main
customers. Yeah. And
Well, I mean,
I don't know. If
exploiting
they
your fan base is nothing new. I mean, that happens every week. Yeah, at the box office every.
yeah,
you know,
we
it's
exploit the
fucking-
hell out of our fan base. I mean, that's
yeah.
just. But I mean,
All 7 of you out there. I'm
but they
sorry.
come back and forth because they like it. You like it, don't you? Look at you. You love it. All right. All right. I think we've harped on this one long enough. You'll follow up because ECCC, the Emerald City Comic Con, falling under a lawsuit right now. This is big business because I don't know. This could set a precedent. I don't want to say for sure, but it's the spotlight's on them, man. All right, so let's jump right into the meat of things, the nitty-gritty of the show here. Because now, Johnny, you got to check out what's one of the most popular MOBAs right now, Overwatch, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
definitely did. Overwatch, it is some good stuff. So it's a brand new intellectual property by Blizzard. They haven't come out with something like this in, I don't know, maybe like 20 years or something like that. It's a first-person shooter. If you've played Team Fortress 2 or Battleborn is another one that actually just came out this month as well and is a direct competitor. But it's basically a hero-based shooter where you go in one team against another team, and there's a bunch of different maps, and each map has their own set of objectives, whether it be escort or King of the Hill style or some other multi-objective based match. And you're using your particular hero in a very unique way versus all the other heroes. So all the heroes in this game are all very unique, and their abilities really set them apart from one another. They are sort of categorized into 4 separate classes of offense, defense, tank, and support for the 21, I think, heroes that exist. But each one plays that particular role very, very differently. So you have an offensive character like Pharaoh. She can fly around. She has like this jetpack, and she can hover in the air, and she can like really rocket up there and get like this bird's eye perspective, and then just rain a bunch of rockets down at the opposing team. And another offensive would be what's his name? Reaper.
Which one? Okay.
And Reaper can sort of go into the shadows, go into like the spirit world, and you can sort of see him, but he'll teleport through, and he's invulnerable while he does it. He can also just teleport straight up, but you can get indications. But he has
so is
like
he the stealth class or is he the?
He's like an assassin. So he's an offensive character. He sort of teleports behind enemy lines or gets behind enemy lines, and then he dual wields shotguns, and he just unloads on whoever's nearby, and then sort of cloaks up and disappears into the nether again.
Oh man.
So
It's like ninjas.
and that's just 2 different characters of the same sort of role. And there's, like I said, 21 of them. They all play very differently, and it's very fast, very frantic. It's less based on sort of... It's more focused on first-person shooter elements and being very accurate with that than it is with sort of... the more mobile aspects of things. There are no creeps they have to worry about. There are no in a particular match. There's no like meta element they have to worry about. Like
So it's primarily player versus player rather than player versus environment.
Exactly. There's no environmental things that you need to worry about other than the objective that's happening. So you don't have to worry about buying upgrades, like buying items that enhance your capabilities.
Yeah.
You're not leveling up mid-match.
Perks,
So
if
all
you
of
wanna
those
call them
RPG elements, they're not there. So it's very much stripped down just hero powers and what those characters can do, and just first-person shooter. Now, with that said, it's very streamlined. It's very polished, and the other big kicker is that you can switch your characters mid-match.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I got a taste of it over the weekend, just a brief taste. I didn't realize I could swap out because I was getting my ass handed to me.
You can swap out, and it's very, very important because you can come across another team that has an ideal matchup where they're going overly defensive with a completely ridiculous character like Bastion. You can then swap out for a character that can counter. You can switch to a character that can counter Bastion, like Reaper, where you can sort of teleport behind Bastion, get behind him in order to take out Bastion when he's in overpowered turret mode.
Okay, now
What
a
do you-
lot
what
of
do you
hype
think
has
of-
been. Oh, okay. What's up?
What do you think of the length of the matches? Like, I've been playing it for like 3 days on and off with my buddies.
Yep.
And I actually enjoy the length. It's like 6 to 10 minutes average, I think, per match.
Yeah.
Probably a little less than that. It's very fast paced, like you said. So, in games, I've played first person shooters where a match can go for like half hour sometimes. You know what I mean, depending on the objective or whatever mode you're playing.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of like the 6 minute? Do you think that helps the game out, or?
Oh, absolutely. It keeps it nice and quick. It keeps it fresh and frantic, and it keeps everything. It keeps all the players focused on that particular match and knowing what it is that they need to do. At any point, I think the most complex mission, like map missions, is maybe like a 2 objective or maybe a 3 objective, and that's it. It doesn't get any more complex than that. If it's the escort mission, you're escorting it to either 3 or 4 different spots, and then that's it. Like, you're just escorting this freighter, whatever vehicle.
Long escort missions piss me right the hell off, man. I'll refer us back to Dead Rising, where it's like you're having fun, you're killing zombies, you're trying on hats in the mall and whatever. What you do, and then you have escort missions where it's like, okay, now I gotta direct some inept AI across an entire map through every enemy class.
Bob, you're slowing me down.
Yeah, and that really like siphons the momentum out of a game. I'm not hearing any bad stuff, so you're telling me that this has somehow circumvented the historically terrible mechanic.
Yes, absolutely. It's because it's PvP escort where you're defending, and if the opposing
so I'm not escorting like this one like a cannon unit. I'm escorting some random team of noobs.
No. You are escorting a vehicle of some sort or some cargo of some sort.
All right.
The
noobs can fend for themselves. You jive suckers, learn to play. Okay, sorry. Continue. Go ahead.
Oh, it's the other. Your team is escorting this thing along, and the opposing team is trying to stop it from progressing. So there's always conflict that's happening, and there's always the big thing about the game is that it really does require team effort. There's one character, Reinhardt, which is a slow tank dude that has like this big giant shield that he can pull up. And while he has the shield up, nothing's getting by. It takes forever to take down that shield if you're shooting at it, and nothing's going to pass through that shield. So he can have a bunch of people behind him, like a healer, and just really sponge up all that damage and just really solidify their position at that spot. Meanwhile, other characters in the team, maybe the offensive ones, can go along the sides and flank the enemy and take them out from the sides. There's sniper characters that can sort of find a nice hide spot. There's some nice verticality in there as well that in each of the maps that really allows for these different types of playing.
Anything bad about the game you don't like?
Yeah, there's no there's no ranked system.
Oh, like a competitive mode?
Yeah, there's no like leaderboard competitive nature to the game itself. And I think that's a major
drawback.
It's definitely a gaping hole that they should have something there.
Do you think it's something they're going to include down the road?
They absolutely could include it down the road. That and one thing that I know for certain that they're including is they're going to be including more characters, more maps, and more cosmetics. And that's the big thing. There is a not pay to play, pay to win. It's like just a pay for cosmetic stuff on the side.
It's pay to not suck. It's pay to look pretty.
It's pay to look pretty. Yes, they do have that.
Okay,
pay to look pretty,
baby.
All right, so what I'm getting from you is the game lives up to the hype.
Absolutely, it does live up to the hype. I wish that there was just a leaderboard system, and I'm sure
Johnny just wants to show how badass he is.
I'm terrible.
That's it.
I'm not surprised the way you just went off.
I am
man.
terrible, except with Diva.
Okay.
Diva's my character.
Well, I know you didn't give out a game of time.
Hanzo's my dude. I love Hanzo.
Well, actually, Adam, you might get a kick out of this if you check out pictures of Zarya, I think it is. She looks, and I mean seriously, it's uncanny, like our former Geek Down correspondent, Fonda Feeling.
Yep.
Really?
Like spot on facial features, body wise. I think somebody owes her royalties, man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in a while either.
It's been a while, man,
Yeah.
since she went off to do her circus thing.
Yeah,
Dude. I mean, we miss her.
She went off and joined the circus.
We should
literally,
invite,
yeah.
literally,
That's what
yeah.
She went off and did.
But no, we should invite her back one time. Like that's what I mean, body wise. Like she's, a strength trainer, and that is her from like head to toe, right down to the pink hair.
It's perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, it absolutely is. All right, so Overwatch, man.
Overwatch, great game. Definitely pick it up. if I had to recommend, so they have two main bundles for it. One is the $40 and the other one's the $60, which comes with some extra cosmetic stuff. I would just ignore that $60 one. You're getting more bang for your buck with the $40, and eventually you can earn, just from leveling up in the game, earn the extra cosmetic stuff as you play it.
I'm with that.
Oh, and it's available on Xbox One, PS4, and on PC. Get it on PC.
What you gonna tell people? It's like you want to make sure you get it on PC.
Well, he's right.
It's a Blizzard game. I mean,
yeah, it's gonna push to 60 frames per second, but it's like consoles can't really do it justice. Like I'm pretty sure his PC does it great justice.
All right. Oh wait. Let's wait until
you just
it comes
need
out
that
on
mouse.
Ouya.
You need the mouse.
Okay.
It's all about the mouse.
All right. You know
Keyboard
what?
and
You know
mouse.
what? I'd like to dispute you and make a joke, but he's not wrong. All right. So, okay. So thank you for the Overwatch. I want to know right now, though, who is getting hit in the face with phones?
Who's getting hit in the face?
Or is he not? Or is Russell Crowe not doing that anymore?
Yeah. No, he's throwing them. He throws the phones.
Okay,
I think,
there
right?
you go. All right. Well, my man.
Was that what it was? Yeah.
Black Adam got to check out Nice Guys.
Yes.
Yeah. So how are the abs?
Well, this is like a movie I thought it was like made directly for me. Because I like this movie so much, you know what I mean? I think he just made it for me, you know what I mean? This is a Shane Black movie, and if you know Shane Black,
right, Predator.
Yeah, he was in Predator. You know what I mean? He's the guy. He was the character in Predator. He told all the bad jokes, and I can't tell them on the air, but they're really bad and they're really funny.
I'll give you a Billy.
That's it. You actually nailed that, And so, but after Predator, he wrote Lethal Weapon, and then that kind of spawned this big. He basically wrote the blueprint for like that buddy off color, action comedy thing. You know what I mean? And then from that point on, he was like the highest paid screenwriter in Hollywood
for good reason.
You know what I mean? And then he wrote a string of movies. He wrote like The Long Kiss Goodnight. He wrote The Last Boy Scout. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was like it's really gritty, kind of really sharp dialogue. All told around some reason around Christmas. They all take place around Christmas or something like that.
You got to know what works for you, man.
Right. And so
that's why I made the mistake of thinking he wrote Pootie Tang. But that was wishful thinking on my part.
Yeah, he just wrote a character in there. But then his first movie he directed was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and then that was so funny that it was like a coup for movies for me because I was supposed to go see the movie Capote. Or something crap like that, you know what I mean? And there was like
it was dope, man. I saw it.
It was all right, but it was like the times got messed up anyway. Like I walked into Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I had heard nothing about it, and it was like it just blew me away, and I was like so surprised on how good it was. And that job got him Iron Man 3, and now he's here making The Nice Guys. And in the same vein of all those other movies, this involves a couple private detectives who are kind of like down in their luck, and this takes place in like 1977. Around the porn industry in Los Angeles, and
around the porn industry, yet they resisted the urge to call it a couple of dicks.
They pulled back on that one. They pulled out on that idea. Yeah, I'm sorry. So yeah, and so it's just this is I can't. Can I come back from that? Yeah.
You got it, man. That's all.
All right.
That's all. You stone cold approved. Just give me a hell yeah.
Yeah. So this follows these two private dicks. And they're investigating the death of this porn star named Misty Mountains, and which is a great name, yeah. And so and
giggle hound today.
I'm sorry, it's too good.
In investigating this leads them to all these weird hired goons, the auto industry, and actually like the federal government as well. And it's just like
the federal government is involved in Misty Mountains.
Absolutely,
nice.
You know what I mean. This wouldn't be a Shane Black script without like it going to the highest levels as well.
Nice.
And so, I mean, this movie plays better once you've seen it like once or twice because when you can tune out all that's going on, like all the plot details, all the mystery and stuff like that, it's just like plays really well as just like a very witty buddy comedy. And this is like a prime example of good writing in character instead of just like this thing we're kind of stuck in of having these characters kind of just sit there and riff on joke and just
these guys
not
are
really
known for their comedy. I mean, I'd imagine with
which is interesting too because Russell Crowe's like a funny guy. Like Ryan Gosling's a funny guy. And it shows him he's trying to escape. Like Ryan Gosling's trying to escape that's like the Disney Mouseketeer good looks that he has and everything like that, and he's like a really good actor, you know.
I think he did that with Drive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so too. And so like he's like the master of kind of just staring at things like quizzically, and like kind of like an alien viewing something for the first time, and he does really well with this. And some of the
Lars and the real girl, man, she scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. And so some of the comedy in this is like it's like double-edged as well, you know what I mean? It plays really well at first as like a straight comedy and you're laughing your butt off, and then it comes back to you later in the movie and you realize, like, man, that's really dark, that's really kind of tragic, some of the
it's like a
the joke,
comedy.
Yeah. And it's just really, I mean, it's a dark movie, but it's just really, like the chemistry between Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe is phenomenal, and I know it's just done in such a smart, sharp way, and it's just great, man. I had a lot of fun at this movie. I laughed. I actually went back and saw it again 2 nights later.
Like that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
See, I'm surprised now. I like the work of Ryan Gosling. I like the work of Shane Black. I had a hard time buying Russell Crowe in anything but like a serious or action role.
Right.
It looked a little shoddy. In
Which
the
it
trailers.
plays.
You're telling
That's
me-
why it's supposed to play that well, because he's like the tough guy. He's built like a refrigerator, and he comes in like the first scene together that he breaks his arm,
Yeah.
and then he comes back and realizes I got to work with this guy. This guy knows something about the case I'm on, and so they kind of have to reluctantly team up like anybody comedy movie. It's like they don't want to be together, but they're forced together in some way.
Okay, when I saw the trailer for this, I got the sense of it was supposed to be or trying to be what Inherent Vice had promised.
Yeah.
If you remember that movie.
Yeah, of course I remember. I really liked that movie, and that movie is
you really liked it. We had differing opinions there,
Right.
But it looked to be a period piece that was a comedy set around serious.
Well, I think this one's supposed to be like the comedy dumb thing, and it really nails that. Inherent Vice is it's kind of like a different level on what it's trying to achieve. I don't really, remember all the fine points of that movie, but it's definitely a heady movie, that one.
All right, so you would recommend this then?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's brilliant. I think Shane Black, who also wrote it as well as directed it, he's one of the finer screenwriters of our time. So, and he's writing in character. He's doing, he's got a bunch of projects on the horizon and everything like that. And I'm glad to see him working like this. He actually just signed on, I think, the new movie he's going to do in a couple of years. He's doing, he just signed with The Rock, Doc Savage.
Oh,
yeah. So that was official today.
Yeah, it came out today.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
so-
if anyone doesn't know Doc Savage, that's one of the classic old school noir characters in the DC universe.
Yeah, so that was his first choice, was The Rock, and I guess The Rock finally strapped on, and decided to do that with him. So, yeah, a lot of big things coming from Shane Black in the future.
Damn, I'm all excited.
He's like, oh my god.
No, high praise from Adam Willis, too.
Yeah, no, man, this is it, dude. This is a good movie. Good actors doing good work.
That
Can't
is
ask for more in early summer stuff.
Oh, for real. All right, and do we get a tasteful shot of Ryan Gosling's bum?
Not in this one, no, man. But you do get to see him hit with the same car 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? It's a great
That's
set piece.
actually worth
It's
it.
fantastic. You know what I mean? He's trying to get this briefcase, and he's walking, and the same thing just keeps hitting him over and over. It's just funny, man. It's just it's set up well. It's good.
All right. I don't know why that makes me feel good, but it does. All right.
I'm glad to make you feel good, dude.
Thank you, bro. All right, but no, that's not the only thing the cats got to see. My homeboy Dirty D, you got to check out a mobile game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the game is called I Love My Circle. Threw me off when I
Let's
get the
smell it.
list, and I'm like,
Been playing that game
this
with
looks
wrestlers?
great, this looks great. I love my circle. Okay, that can go a million different ways if you
It
smart
really
enough with
can, or one.
So
I think it only goes one way, and that's around.
just
Oh.
nonstop.
Oh, Herb, can you cue up that rim shot? Okay.
So it's created by Joshua Burr or Jonathan Burr. I can't remember if it was Joshua or Jonathan, but
Aaron Burr.
last name
There
is
you go.
Burr. Aaron Burr. Hell, why not? He was alive.
There we go. Aaron
He's
Burr.
alive now. And the premise of the game basically is very simple, but it's quite addictive, and that's why I like the game. You're a red dot. There's a circle.
Okay.
You
I'm waiting
have
for
to
the
stay
punchline.
within the confines of this circle,
right.
but simultaneously there is a bombardment of different sized blocks, rectangles, of different manners, different variations coming at you.
And this is for the Atari 2600.
No, this is actually for your $260, $500, $800 iPhone, Samsung, and his phone. You know what I mean? So, the game it's the perfect toilet game.
What?
Yeah.
It's the perfect toilet game. It's the perfect subway game.
Oh, game to play on the tour.
It's perfect.
Something to
'Cause
kill
it's
some
so
time and something to divert your eyes from the other people you're
Because
out.
you have to understand, it's like I hate games like Candy Crush. I just feel like they're just so super played out, and though they're great games, I fell into the Candy
They're time
Crush
killing
addiction.
games, you know what I mean?
At the time, this game is like a time killer, but it's so addictive because you're trying to achieve greatness in it that it just sucks up like an hour of your life before you realize it.
So it's a better time killer.
Before
than
you
the
go,
game
I got to
time
do
killer.
something else. This is not all
Pretty
right.
much.
Yeah.
So so like I said, the different blocks. So you got a set of rectangles that'll come out in like two directions, diagonally in almost any direction in 360 field area, and then you put your finger on anywhere on the screen that's comfortable for you on your phone, and you move it by just swiping your finger left and right. There's a boost option where you just swipe it really fast off the screen, and it'll push certain blocks that are allowed to. I call them the translucent or transparent blocks.
Yeah.
Can be broken through and pushed out of the block. You cannot leave the circle. If you leave the circle, you have literally like a 3-second delay before you can get back in before it ends the game.
This sounds like a pain in the ass, man.
No,
Why
it's
would I wanna-
addictive. Just try it because it's so addictive. Because it's like, all right, cool. Like, oh crap. Like, I'm a gamer, bro. I'm gonna play it. That sucks.
Yeah,
I gotta get
yeah.
used to this. And then when you get used to it, you start getting the rhythm of the game. You get in the flow of it. And then when something really simple happens and it knocks you out the circle, you're like, no, and you scream at yourself.
Throw your $800 phone against the wall.
Exactly.
I imagine you just
the
like,
potential
at
to
home.
rage quit is really high, dude.
Okay, I'm at this dude at home. I'm on the toilet, bathroom door closed. Your son walks
You
by
hear
and just
porcelain
hears,
break in the distance. Yeah.
It's that anger. It helps you release the bowels.
It doesn't help anything, man. I was that kid though, like that had holes in his wall, like lining the side of his gameplay.
Oh
it's just
yeah,
like
the rage.
he's like, I'm just so mad. God, my mom would hear me next door. What the
I was
hell
the
is
kid.
wrong
I was
with
the
you?
kid whose analog stick was always broken.
That's why I had posters all over my room. I was just covering up holes I punched in the wall, like playing video games as a kid. Like,
See, now I had posters too for a different reason. Self-adhesive. Now you, I imagine,
just get out of here.
playing the game. You were just playing
Misty Mountains is all over my wall. Yeah.
and just
Misty Mountain.
Prick.
I'm working on becoming a private dick.
It's like Major Dad, but never mind. I
The
don't know.
sense I'm getting, there was an old like Japanese game that came with, I want to say, one of the first PlayStation demo discs. I'm talking way
Wow,
back,
the
like,
demo disc way.
Yeah, I
back.
remember that.
Yeah.
remember
I was
this.
a member of PlayStation Underground back before it was cool
Yep.
kids. And one of the first things they'd send out, like the first PlayStation demo disc, they'd send out these random Japanese like one-off games.
Yeah.
Where it was like these little time wasters. It sounds like one of these.
Yeah.
Specifically one where you had like a bamboo sword you were trying to keep in a track, and little
Yeah,
things would
I
like
remember
knock you
that.
out.
Oh, they had those-
It sounds like this, right? This is a game where you're just this dot, and the entire premise of this whole grand game is just to control the dot.
Control the dot, keep it in the circle. That's it.
Damn. Okay.
Those demo discs was funny though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it
those
starts
were.
off at so again. This is where it gets great. It starts off at a certain speed.
Yeah.
The more you the longer you play, the longer you stay in the circle.
Yeah.
I should say. The faster the objects coming at you are. So it's graded by different levels. So there's a grade system. It's the colors of the rainbow. I'm just going to call it the spectrum. It goes from like red all the way to what I want to say is a skull, because apparently if you can get to the
From
skull,
red to dead.
if you can get to the skull, you're that good. You know what I mean? I've made it to blue, which is like right after the first color, which I think is like green or
Okay,
something.
so you
like
went
that.
from red to jive sucker is what you're saying.
Yeah, I suck at it.
You're like the 40-year-old
line.
with like a green belt in the karate class. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, man,
glasses,
I'm
like-
good.
Tomorrow we learn the roundhouse.
So the game is great. The soundtrack is good. It's kind of like clubbish music.
The house,
hard
like,
hitting.
Well, they all are.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's better music for power squeezing.
And there's different modes. There's vampire mode, and then bomb mode, which if you hit certain blocks, they explode and thrust you out. But I think in that mode, you get like 5 seconds more outside of the circle, before the game ends. And every game has a plus advanced mode once you beat all the original modes. So it has a high replayable factor, and for $199 you can't beat that.
Yeah,
It
you
came out
really
on
can't.
March 1st.
Wow.
And it's powered by Unity, and you can get an iOS, Android.
If you play it for more than 2 sessions on the toilet, then that's worth like $1 something.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it? Like,
I didn't know you could
you
like
gotta
that.
grade things these days, you know.
if you play for more than 4 and your legs fall asleep, consult the doctor.
So I highly recommend it, man. Enjoy it. $1.99. You can't beat the price,
Nah,
man.
right.
You know,
All right.
You'll probably get a good solid month out of
Dude.
it before some other great game, some other guy develops a nice little quirky iOS game.
I do like
I
the-
Love My Square, the sequel.
I do like those
My
old
Square.
demo games though for the PlayStation. You know, it's like when you get those on Christmas, but you don't have any other
do you
games, so
remember
you
that
play
game?
those
I
like a
remember
1,000
those.
times
Remember
with
that
friends.
game, Intelligent Cube or whatever it was?
Yeah.
It's like you
Yes,
oh
yes,
my god,
yes,
I
yeah.
love that game.
Yeah.
That game was awesome, dude.
I beat that demo like a million times. It's the only game I had at the time.
But you started the
man.
demo over
If you
because it
want
was
to talk,
dope.
if you want to talk demo disc games, it didn't get any better than Blast Chamber, and I'm upset that I never had more than the 2 controllers because it was a 4-player game. One
Yeah,
of the first ones.
4-player like demo game like going on.
It was
You're
a
like-
4-player demo game. You all have a bomb strapped to your chest. The object of the game is to get this bomb to the goal so that everybody else in this room blows the hell up. It's the most sadistic thing. It's like, y'all are my peoples.
Terrorism.
Yeah,
class, right?
terrorist training 101 right there.
Like get it to the highest concentration of people quick. It's like I don't.
Man, okay, so that's why I never got that far in the
Yeah, maybe it's good. Maybe it's good you didn't buy the actual version. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. I was poor. I was in high school. Give me a break. I had crappy things to buy with my part-time strawberry salary.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
god,
worked at a Strawberry?
strawberries?
Yes.
Jesus, brother.
I worked at 2 of them, yo. One downtown,
one in Downtown
and
Crossing?
one in East Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, I went there. Yeah.
And when I stopped working there for the Busta Rhymes signing. That's a different story. Job, motherfucker. Anyways, hey, I
You
got
worked
to
there.
check out
The Genesis
X-Men
tour.
Apocalypse. Am I the only one in the house that got to see this drivel?
No,
This
I have.
tragedy.
I have viewed it.
You have viewed it?
I didn't see
my
it,
eyes
so-
cannot see what I've seen.
Yeah, dude, what the heck, man? I went in with such high hopes because this was my story.
Wait, high hopes. How's
Really?
that possible?
High hopes, man. Okay, because I know
We had
I
a
know-
chat way earlier
We had a chat but
after Deadpool.
Uh-huh.
And you specifically said Apocalypse is like the worst X-Men storyline.
No, I said the most complex and convoluted and hard to do as a movie, but I still said one of my favorites because Apocalypse is one of my favorite villains, and I went in with this one hoping that somehow
Well, I
by the
remember-
graces.
I remember when he was hinted at
Yeah.
the end of the last movie. You were all pumped up.
I was,
So
and,
this
and that's
was-
one of the things. And if you recall, Emily Hecht was
Yep.
was chiming in the commentary there,
Yes.
and she went on and on about how hot she thought the dude was. And I'm like, do you realize what you're saying? You're saying Adolf Hitler had a cute high school picture. It's just
I haven't seen it, but he might. Yeah.
I was struggling to drive it home, man. I can't find my notes here, so I'm just gonna wing it. But basically, the storyline is the very first mutant on Earth has returned after after several thousand years of sleep, and they really go out of their way to emphasize how old he is, to point out how in storylines a lot of the stuff that he claims to be and is said about him
Is in the Bible and
isn't in like the Bible, is in like Dead Sea Scrolls and all this old historical text, and they say, well, it sounds like he's basing his legend off of these, and then someone points out, no, actually, these legends may be based off of him.
Right. It's kind of like in Highlander, like at the end of like the TV show when Mythos is like one of the 4 riders of the apocalypse there, the 4 horsemen. You know, it's kind of like that, right?
Yep. Yeah, and I like that. I like that concept though because it shows that they're trying to go beyond the comic universe to give it some sort of
Real
attachment
life
to-
historical, yeah.
Yeah, and the only thing I can say is that is where it stops being clever. Yeah, dude.
Outside the plot, it stops
Savage.
being something you want to
Man.
watch, yeah.
Because you start off with a great premise, and then the whole thing just completely like somebody shat in their hand and threw it against the wall and said, "There, we have a movie,
Wow.
my friend."
Oh, man.
I am so upset because this movie had on paper, it had everything.
It had potential.
That should have been, such potential. That should have made a really good movie. The introduction of Scott Summers, which we've been waiting to see, since we kind of didn't hate James Marsden in the early X-Men movies because
Not
he
fully,
played,
no, yeah.
yeah, he played a good Scott Summers, a good Cyclops, because we're not supposed to like Scott Summers. We respect him as a leader and a warrior, but he's also a dick.
Yeah, he was like nuanced in the
but-
faces. Like, I don't really like him, but he hasn't really done anything to really piss me off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
no,
He's
it's
reserved enough where you're like, I don't really trust that dude, but he's
something
kind of
about that
sure.
guy. And this movie introduced somebody new, Ty. Oh, jeez, I want to say not Egerton. Was it Egerton?
Now, Joel
the
is
actor
your
for
thing,
Scott.
Yeah,
I
you know-
totally forgot the kid's name.
Yeah, I forgot his name too. Ty.
We got a computer around here
I got
somewhere.
you.
I think,
Yeah, Ty Sheridan was good casting, I thought, because for some reason I couldn't get past his face. Something was very specific about his face, and I'm like, I buy that this dude's gonna grow up to be an ass. And he played it well.
That's it. When you nail it,
That's one requirement for being Cyclops.
He was a punk teenager, but that really worked for the story and really worked for the character. The actor portrayed it well. And I couldn't get. I finally figured out what about his face looked kind of familiar, but kind of off-putting. I'm a big Tom Hardy fan. Yeah, we've seen Tom Hardy do great work. Tom Hardy is also a chameleon.
Yeah.
And I thought this may have been Tom Hardy in that, like, remember Captain America movie when they made him like extra small and skinny. I thought they pulled one of those for a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's not. Ty Sheridan just has that face. He looks like Tom Hardy's little brother.
But he's been good in He's been good in past movies and everything like that. Where
I'm not saying his acting was
bad.
bad. I'm just saying his face was very specific. That's all.
The punchability scale is high. Is what you're saying.
It was.
You got to get to the part where some of the characters I've been waiting to see on screen,
dude,
were underutilized so bad.
How was Olivia Munn?
Olivia Munn was.
She was just eye candy for whatever.
That's what I was expecting, dude. But
well, Psylocke, the character of Psylocke is a complex one that no one's ever really cared about, to the point where they've retconned it like no less than 4 times.
Man, Jim Lee was awesome. I'm sorry, Jim Lee, dude. Right? That was like
Jim Lee was not in this movie.
No, but he was the one that introduced Psylocke to
the world,
the world, dude.
Yeah,
but
man. Think about it this way:
Yeah.
where the characters
anyways.
started and where the characters have come, like, end up, are worlds light years apart.
Well,
look at Deadpool. Fabian DeSouza and Rob Liefeld created that sucker,
Yeah.
and now he's one of the most popular movie characters in 2016.
Right. But we're talking about, like, with the X-Men and everything like this, with this franchise, it's just like, it's so hit or like throw it against the wall. You know what I mean? Like, they'll go from being like good to really good to, oh my god, how did they do that? You know what I mean? It's like, seems to be like jumping from that, like, back and forth, even from like the Wolverine single stories.
How did they get funding for that?
Yeah, it's like the single story, like the X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then to like the X-Men's first, the other X-Men.
I can answer that question.
Yeah.
It's Fox. They don't give a damn.
Right.
He's not wrong. Okay, now tell me, did something seem familiar about this movie that you couldn't quite place your finger on? Because I, for the longest time, until I saw the end credits, couldn't think why this movie it's like just off kilter with me.
Nah, man.
Okay, well, here's what got me. I really liked X-Men First Class.
Okay.
And I liked Days of Future Past less, but Days of Future Past, building off of First Class,
it wasn't a bad film. Yeah.
No, it wasn't a bad film at all. You're right. But the thing that got me on this one was there's something familiar about this, but something familiar that I don't like, and I can't quite place it. I found it at the end credits because I didn't research who made this beforehand. It was directed by Bryan Singer. Right there. And my thing is, after rebuilding the good faith that Bryan Singer cut down in X-Men movies and comic movies in general, with X-Men First Class, and then to a lesser degree, but like I said, with Days of Future Past and The Wolverine, Bryan Singer comes in and presents this movie that was all style over substance. I was so let down because they had potential and they dropped the ball.
Where I felt like they tried so hard. Like, there were scenes in there that were great. Could have been better at rated R. But like, I feel like it was trying to pay homage to the comic events. Like, oh great, thank you for paying that little piece of homage. Get back to the story, which is garbage as hell. You know what I mean? So I think that's what I disliked most about it. It's like he tried so hard to appease fans while trying to keep his Singer touch on the film, and then you totally destroy like characters that are like iconic.
Well,
like,
what I'm also hearing out of this movie too, like, and not having seen it, is like the just the continuity and the time frame of this movie doesn't really make sense when you align it with the other films.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think the excuse like he gave to is like some quantum physics mechanics.
Well, that's what happened in Days of Future Past. Remember? Like,
and it's just like it's such an easy cop out where it's just like you can blame it on anything. You know what I mean? It's just
but that's the attitude. It's like you can tell he doesn't care. It's just a paycheck.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he kind of like brought this stuff to us. You know what I mean?
Was
like
that
it was
that told me that there was an article that he wrote. Was that you that somebody said he stated that I'm making a sci-fi film more than I'm making a fan film.
Well,
oh,
you know what I mean?
That wasn't me, but I can definitely see that.
You know what I mean?
And
Like he said, I
it's-
was like, I'm not doing this for the fans. I'm creating a sci-fi film that I feel like I could tell in this manner, and this is the way it's going to be done.
Which would be cool if you know what I mean, but the sci-fi still has to hold up. It still has to make sense. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Like it still has to make
still have
sense.
to make
Like
a good movie,
the
you're saying?
science of the sci-fi still has to be science, right? Like it still has to be like you can't just like write it off like
be
hey,
some of
how do we
how
go
can-
here? Like,
Exactly.
How can you like really blame him though, dude? You're taking on a character like Apocalypse, dude. That's like celestial technology.
No.
supposed to be
We
in there and,
we
like-
can blame them. Okay,
Well,
we can blame them. The fact that these cats took nothing characters, or like the Guardians of the Galaxy, and gave us a solid movie that was entertaining.
Yep.
But that was
and
Marvel.
Fit it's all Marvel. That's the thing. People can't.
But this is
assume
Fox.
just because it's not. It's Fox making the movie doesn't mean it exists outside of the Marvel universe, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because we've gotten all too comfortable in saying, well, why wasn't Andrew Garfield in Iron Man?
Sure,
well,
yeah.
because it's Fox, and so it's like they all are in the Marvel universe, and the fact that these companies, these studios, have their own inner turmoils, and we can't work with this, we can't have this inherent things, that detriments it because you have people that make good movies, and in the same universe you'll have people that make the really crappy movies. This movie was garbage juice, in my opinion. It hurts to say because they took one of my favorite stories and
Exactly.
they bastardized it.
Bring
So
out
hard.
That's what's aggravating about, like, at the end of the day, dude, I cried I cried when I watched it. I'm like, dude, I looked at my girl like, baby, I'm crying for the day Marvel can helm an X-Men film. I'm an X-Men lover. Like, I love the Avengers, but I was an X-Men kid. I was 90s cartoon comic books, 90s comics all the way through. I have the runs, brother.
Nice.
Yeah,
and
dude,
it sucks
so
that
was I. I was a
can't
DC
get an
kid.
X-Men movie.
X-Men
dude.
was my only my only toe dipping into Marvel.
Yeah,
and
dude.
and it was what's up. Okay, I'm like, everything else in Marvel is gritty and too raw for me, but X-Men is the saving grace.
Yeah.
You know, I would have killed for a movie like this in the 90s.
Yeah.
When all we had was like the Punisher, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
That's interesting, dude.
You know,
like, if you saw this movie back in the '90s, would you have considered it like a good movie then, dude? Like, when
I
comic book
considered
movies
Bio-
like,
no, but that's because we didn't have.
I considered
anything.
Biodome a good movie in the 90s. Let's be honest, yeah.
All right.
Like, we can't go back in time, yeah. But you're right. I probably would have, you know what I mean? But that's not the time we're living in.
That's right.
We
You're
have
right.
high
Now-
standards now, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And we should have high
Yep.
standards as fans, as critics, you know,
We can look at these things with prestige.
And then the
Yep.
back, if you did you see the end credit?
I watched the end credits.
I'm like, really? Like, that should have happened before. That
All
should
right,
have
well,
happened.
don't-
that should have happened between X1 and X2.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, well, don't spoil that.
yeah,
but-
yeah,
I'm saying that, but
I won't. All I'll say, the legit review here now is this is not Apocalypse's movie, even though it should be. This is not the X-Men movie, even though it should be. They really try to ham fist and crowbar in the bromance between Professor X and Magneto,
Yep.
and by now we have stopped caring.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, this is so far beyond the realm of I don't give a. You know, the only thing that saved this movie experience and would make me recommend it to anybody is if you wanted to see Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Finally not be the extra emo, I'm kind of the Phoenix, but I'm not, and maybe I'm working for Magneto, or maybe I'm not, and blah, blah. It's like, if you wanted to see her just be Jean Grey, the actress in this movie, she handled that. They didn't give her much to do, but when she was on screen, I was like, you know what? I kind of care where this story goes.
Yeah.
They put Jean Grey in play. They put Scott Summers in play. Finally! And, dude, Nightcrawler, son.
So
Yeah.
Nightcrawler was all over this movie. I laughed my ass off. He was
no
the
way.
man.
It was on point.
He was the man. Nightcrawler actually does some stuff besides speak German, pray, and look
It
weird.
was actually funny as hell.
Yeah,
So
the kid
I mean,
that played
I guess
Nightcrawler,
I'm
so.
digging it like that. So the only reason I'm actually interested in this movie is because of the actor who plays Apocalypse.
The actor, Oscar
Oscar
Isaac.
Isaac.
Yeah,
Oscar
yeah,
Isaac.
yeah. So
Great.
he does. I mean, he's basically unrecognizable to look at him.
Yeah, they did.
And so,
they did a
I
lot
mean,
with the
does
makeup.
he-
I wouldn't say they did good with the makeup. I'll say they did a lot with the makeup.
Right.
Because at the end, they tried to make it
But like,
look
is the
more Egyptian and
performance
less
like?
mutants.
Does the performance like?
His
is it-
performance was a letdown, and that's what really bugs me because Apocalypse
No, it
is
wasn't.
in the title. To me,
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
it was
all right, all right.
actually really good. It's just what we know of Apocalypse and what he's capable of wasn't done correctly.
Ah, okay.
His voice,
Okay, I can see
the way
that. I
he
can see
approached
that.
the actors, the way he approached his agenda was. I mean, Oscar Wilde's a great actor, bro.
Oscar Isaac.
Thank you,
yeah.
Oscar Isaac. Yo, no, like
Oscar
I
Wilde
love
may have been
everything
dead a
he's
long
in.
time, brother.
That movie, The Machine,
The Machinist?
the one when he built the android.
Ex Machina.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was great acting.
Great movie.
So I just couldn't get past. I just saw that, and I just saw him. I'm like, good choice for Apocalypse. I like the way they did the voice. I like the way he approached situations. Just Apocalypse is way more badass.
Okay, I think you're right. I may have been hasty in my assumption. I think you're right. I still would have liked to have seen more done with Apocalypse in line with him being more of an evil, desperate figure than just a manipulative, like powered Lex Luthor type of guy. I will say though, one of the things that this movie absolutely did right, mostly did right, is introduce several different X-Men universe characters. They showed what they could do, but they didn't harp on most of them for too long. We saw Caliban and what he was doing. Made sense. We saw Storm. I would have liked to have seen more of Storm, or at least the better actress portray Storm.
There's no character that's been screwed over more than Storm. In the whole X-Men thing.
Scott Summers.
She has maybe. But she has no good dialogue in any of these movies she's ever done.
In all fairness, though,
you know what happens to a frog after he gets struck by lightning?
I was just going to bring that up.
Are you kidding me?
Thing that happens to everything else.
It's like you gotta. She's
you gotta dredge up bad
Jamaican accent.
But she's it, man. She's it. She's like the. She gets nothing. She gets to chew on nothing.
A big deal was made about Jubilee, and you're gonna see Jubilee. She's gonna do stuff now. It's like she was a background figure. I liked seeing her there, but I never understood why she was such a big deal outside of the 90s cartoon show. And I thought this movie was going to present that. They didn't really.
Well, it sounds like X-Men is like in perpetual thing of like too many cooks in the kitchen. There's too many characters that you want to see. There's too many these great storylines that you want to see like brought to light, and it's just like they don't have time, and so they bring some up and then they throw them to the wayside all the time.
Long ass movie, man.
Dude,
yeah, but
this was like 2.5. What was up?
Would this movie make you want to read the upcoming X-Men event, the Apocalypse War or whatever, dude?
No, and it should. It should.
Yeah,
but it won't.
Oh man,
that's what because this
doesn't make you want to go to the comics. You go to the source.
No, and it should too. It was all special effects.
And it fails twice.
It was all style, no substance, and even Bryan Singer took liberties with a lot of the costuming, which I think was a misstep.
That was the most aggravating part of the movie.
He also takes liberties.
Hey, by the way, look at those. Yeah, why not? Oh, really, Singer?
I will say, I've talked a lot of mess about this, but once again, my favorite scene coming out of an X-Men movie, was Quicksilver, dude.
Yeah,
Quicksilver.
The soundtrack to that scene was awesome.
I was dying.
So, because in the last movie, like he does that thing. It's like, he's walking around, he's moving the bullets and stuff like that, and it played to that music. It was perfect. Yeah, it was great.
Started off, I thought they were doing an homage to that, and when the scene became its own, I was like, okay. Yeah. It took about a good 30 seconds for me to be like, oh, y'all doing this BS again? How the fuck? Oh, that's what's going on.
They have a better Quicksilver than the Avengers Quicksilver.
Yeah, they do.
Absolutely.
They have a live Quicksilver. What's going on? All right, at the end of the day, which I've said like 4 times here, but now at the end, I can't recommend anyone see this, but if you are seriously a hardcore fan,
savage.
Like, I'm sorry,
it's true,
dude.
Man. It's good. It's good.
The movie almost hurt me, like on a moral level. All right, man, I'm upset.
See,
I'm upset as a comic fan and as a black man. They started off in Egypt. How many black people?
So this is my last
Egypt?
Question about the thing.
All right,
do you see
Greeks in Egypt? It was all Mark Anthony.
Fox cutting a deal with Marvel as Sony did to let them helm something?
I don't, because they're petty they're petty. Right. But I wish they would.
Thanks for shattering my dream.
I'm sorry, man. It's just I wish I had better news for
this.
Just now. We have gone so far over time on this review.
It's good, man. It's
all right. Well, either way, I can't recommend this. D.
Nah, man.
Yeah,
bootleg it or wait till it hits.
Bootleg it.
Do something. Hit CBS.
As much as we don't endorse these illicit activities,
but save your $10-$20, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go.
All right,
cancel plans for tomorrow night.
Yeah. We had hoped to have a couple of solid more reviews out. We just don't have the time. We got like 2 minutes. I guess want to touch on the most recent controversy with Captain America. Because man. Okay, the real reason I'll be real quick with this, because I mean, am I the only one that read Captain America Steve Rogers?
I read it, man.
You guys read it? Okay, cool. Captain America Steve Rogers is the new Captain America book, which brings Steve Rogers back as Captain America. He's taking up the helm and the shield again. But he's not taking over the mantle of Captain America from Sam Wilson. Rather, he's sharing it this time.
Yeah.
So this means a new costume. This means a new shield. This also means
a new Ebony and Ivory video.
Dude, I didn't even. That's wrong. That's messed up.
It's not even wrong. I mean, it's
okay.
I think
it's not funny,
it's
but
It's like Geek Down. They're jocking our style and color scheme, brother.
You can't throw that type of twist into a character who's been so iconic and just literally been pictured and looked at as the epitome of the American ideal.
We look
There's
at
no way in hell you should do that.
We look
No,
at it
you're
as
right. I
they
think
can,
you're right.
but
Man.
the only,
Well,
the
they
only
did
way
that
I can
with
justify
Joker.
they
So
How?
man.
there's 3 of them now.
Oh,
There's three Jokers. You got to try to keep these things fresh to sell books, and you can only sell Captain America, the great American hero, for so long. It's been like 60 years, bro.
Yeah, but-
So I can see them pulling a twist, and after reading it, there was a subtle hint in it, a very subtle hint a friend turned me on to that would kind of make this make sense. No spoilers necessarily, but I will say that at one point they did mention the cosmic cube and time travel. And that's all I can say that would kind of make this make sense. But what we ended up with is Captain America is now and has always been a sleeper agent for Hydra. This first issue was written very well. The second issue I got a taste of. I didn't fully read myself. I think they may be up to issue 4 in digital version, so we'll touch on that next week, hopefully. But, Captain America, Steve Rogers, at the very least, they're doing something very, very different with Cap, and I think pretty interesting. And not just like, oh, you fired you for being a communist. Like, get the freaking out of here. But I say check it out, man. Just to the point that it piqued my interest.
Yeah.
And kind of washed the taste of X-Men Apocalypse out my mouth. That's all I'm gonna say.
good thing you
Still a
chose to
better
do this
reason
one
than that
after.
movie.
Yeah.
All right. We didn't get the Dark Souls. Hopefully, we can get to that maybe next week.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, so this has been the Geek Down here on WEMF Radio. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank the cast supreme, the cavalcade of suckers that came in to represent for Geekdom. I'm talking about my homeboy Black Adam Willis.
Yes, sir.
Right there, pound my
Pound
buddy.
it.
All right, I'm talking about my man Dirty D.
Hell Hydra.
All right, I'm talking about the consummate gamer who gave away all his strategies tonight, just Johnny.
Yo.
And talk about the man who keeps us sounding extra special, DJ Herbie Herb.
Yo.
All right, solid. And want to remind you all, you can catch us every Monday nights right here on WEMFradio.com. Catch us next week, and if you heard anything in the meantime you want to chime in on, hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com, or just go to geek-down.com for all that good info. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, Instagram, all that, all the social networks. You can find us and let us know how you feel about things. And until then, we'll catch you next Monday night right here, 9 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. And until then, be excellent to each other. Peace.
Hydra.